Welcome back to another episode of the Self-Development with Tactics podcast of some sorts. Sometimes names are just names. Today we're gonna do a bit of modeling again. I have been looking through a few tutorials. I'm basically always, trying to search for some ways to make some cool shit and whatever. Today we are gonna do something rather experimental again. Once again, I do want to underline that what I enjoy so much about Grasshopper is the ability to be so precise on one hand, and on the other hand be incredibly imprecise, kind of, creating those forms that nobody could create without having a computer, or at least it would take just so much time. But then again, having this very preciseness, being so exact with the positioning of things, I would say. It's not as, I would argue it's not as imprecise as Houdini is, even though I think that by learning a bit more about Grasshopper these days, I am definitely also improving my Houdini game. So yeah. I guess it maybe makes sense to start with a box, I would say. Can I do just a box rectangle? Create a box defined by a rectangle and a height. Box properties, center box, centered on a plane. I might actually, just do that. Base, size of box, and then I don't know what a domain is doing. Average domain, construct domain, curve domain. I think it is there. Can I put this in there? I'm having 100 and let's say 100. I don't know what this does, by the way. I see. Oops. Okay. Creates a numeric domain from two numeric extremes. Okay, I don't know what it does, but we are not gonna deal with that shit. Oh, I see. So what if I plug in those there and I'm having this? Is it gonna always be like the same? Yes, no matter what I change there. That is interesting. I don't necessarily want to have that. So we're gonna create another one with a z-axis and get rid of the domain. I've seen someone, I don't remember the name, I could give it a name, might be good even. This person is called Daniel Caven Design, making really cool videos, so shout out to him. That can, I think, be rather useful. Let's go for 10 and something like this. A bit of a, I would like it to be a bit higher, like that. It's not exactly, it would be nice to have it on, like, not being like the centroid of it being on the 0 point, but it is what it is. We're gonna populate this thing there. Region, yes. Count should, I think, be fine. I guess that's good. And point as list. Apparently, as I have noticed, yes, when I'm doing that, I'm creating a lot of boxes. Before, I have had the issue of trying to do exactly that, and I was unable to do so. So yeah, that's interesting to see that it is so incredibly easy. But I want to have a 100 slider that is doing just that for all of them, And it's definitely not going to be 100, but it's going to be a lot smaller. Would be good to have a random there. Is this range number seed? So let's create a... Oh, okay. We can also just plug in domain steps. Just plug in a range there, because it would be good to have them randomized. Steps. And the domain, construct a domain, please, out of these. No, go away. Out of these two. Thank you. And we're gonna go rather small on them. Is this now doing number of random values seed? I don't really know what I'm doing here, by the way. I mean, I could also do that, I guess. Can I just also plug in these two and see what it's doing? Yes, I can actually also do so. It's not really sensical though, is it? Not really. Number. I could see what is the number there, 100. So I do also want to have 100 random numbers, don't I? This would make sense, you know, no matter what. But now I'm having, well, let's get rid of this fucker and do it like this. And this is exactly what I wanted to have. So now we are basically having a tower of things there. We could actually increase the size, maybe. Maybe that is interesting. And I would like to move this thing. So let's do it like that. And I want to have a Z vector. And this is the vector probably, yes. So I'm willing to have a 100 slider again. And see what this is doing. I mean, I just want to move it. Like this, some sort of. We could also... Is this actually changing something? I don't hope so. We could also have a slider for the seed, so that we can go through some iterations. I think it's... I do wonder though... okay. Okay, I see. I just wanna see this box, please. Or actually these boxes would make more sense, but I think this is actually kind of fine. Is this cool? I don't know. I do not. I think this is good. Then we're gonna move this down a tiny bit. I mean, there probably is some good way to do this a bit better. Anyway, we are gonna deconstruct this this box here, because I wanna have, I think, the edges. Do I wanna have the edges, or do I wanna have what is it called? Proximity? Curve proximity. Right. Points. Yes, I do want to have a few points. So this was basically my goal to create. But I would have liked it to be, or I wanted to be a bit more maximum number of closest points to find. I mean, this could be more, like 10. What is it now doing? I want it to be a bit more organic, a bit more something. Now we're gonna get a link as tree and topology as tree. Is link as tree the same as like a line? This would be good. Minimum radius and maximum radius. I mean, let's do a 100 slider. I'm actually always fearing that you cannot see that. But now I can... Okay, that... I think you can see it. It should be fine. Yes, you can see it. Nice. Wonderful. The minimum radius. And also the maximum radius. Okay, maximum radius, the max being 8,000 or something. I don't really know. Let's see. Okay, let's get rid of the minimum, the maximum radius. Oh, or I should just also click on this one to see what is even happening. So this is the minimum radius. It's really interesting that it is still creating the boxes. It is still creating the boxes. That's really interesting to see. But, I mean, it is what it is. Okay. I mean, I could also do that. Now we're having a bunch of lines. I think we could mirror them. Mirror curve. Mirror combine. Mirror. I think I want to mirror a curve. Geometry to mirror and the mirror curve. Can't I do both? Can't I do both? Is something actually happening? I don't think so. I do not think so. But I could just... okay. I could just do that. If I would like to. I mean, now I could also deconstruct that and or proximate that, if that is even possible. I mean, it is something. I could also tween all of these. Let's see what is happening then. Curve, tween consecutive curves. Might also die there. Factor, loop back. Factor should apparently be a range. The factor should apparently be a range. And now let's hope that it is not dying. And it is not dying, which is great to see. But I think 100 is a bit overkill, is it? So let's turn it back. Let's turn you back to something more reasonable. It is still a bit unreasonable in, you know, certain instances, like here in the middle. We could reduce it, of course, but I don't know, you know, maybe it does create something interesting. I mean, probably 20 is enough, is it? Or isn't it? There we go. 20 should be enough. Wonderful. What we're gonna do now, because I wanted to create something more organic. I don't particularly like the form, by the way. It might become more interesting, but yeah, let's see. You know, let's just go from there. Since this is just a bunch of lines at this point, we might we might just convert that into a volume. What is this? R and S. I do still need the settings. Of course, I'm gonna give you some settings. And R is the curve radius, which is probably just gonna be like a 1 or something. Should I actually... I'm actually gonna save that for once. Gonna name it unnamed, but that should be fine. And let's see if it breaks or it doesn't. I believe Grasshopper / Rhino being rather fragile from time to time. Of course, I think to compute it's not easy. Conversion failed, make sure you supplied valid radius. Must be at least 30% larger than the voxel size. Okay, so let's... I should numerically do that. I shouldn't just, you know, pull some trigger or some shit. Note to myself. Note to myself. I really, by the way, I also hope that the result is going to be somewhat good. I don't know. I basically never know. I always hope that it is. But as I said before, I tend to like things done with Grasshopper. Not primarily, but also because of this precision. And this precision can also be seen, at least at my point of view. And this is something incredible. You know, just being able to see every single line. I do believe that this is also, or one is able to do that in Houdini as well. I'm comparing those two, by the way, very often because they are quite similar. And, or there are some similarities. They function in a similar way, and they are similarly complex. I mean, this looks cool. This looks cool. I like it. I really like it. I actually don't want to play around too much there. What conversion failed makes. I mean, it worked, didn't it? So I think it's fine. We're gonna convert the volume to a mesh now. And what is this? The volume settings. And now do something. I think it is fine. I think it turned out fine. It's nothing too extraordinarily crazy. But I think it is an interesting workflow. It can probably produce way better results and way more interesting results. And one could definitely also build from that and, you know, see what is happening and what can be achieved. I also thought about using polypipes to make it even more interesting. I might also do so using the boxes, like the... It's not aggregated, but just a bunch of boxes with the proximity lines, using them and connecting them with polypipes might also create something really interesting, and then maybe smoothing it again, using maybe Weaverbird or something might generate an additional very interesting structure. I think very often it comes down to, or can be boiled down to, just having a multitude of different geometries that in the end then create something really cool and something really interesting. I think that I'm gonna bake this for now. I hope that this is fine. As I said, I mean, and as you also can see, it is quite slow, isn't it? But it indeed worked, as far as I can tell. It's still really really small, really slow though, which is no wonder. It's fine. It's actually rather fine. And let's have a look at it using the maybe Arctic, maybe render, depends on things. Let's get rid of view and let's have a rendered look. I mean, having a bit more... That's interesting. A bit broken there. I mean, it has something. A bit of a smaller voxel size would have done it great, I guess. Or would have done it good. I don't want to play around with it too much now. Voxel size, bandwidth, ISO value. And maybe also having a smaller ISO value. Defined as 1. Maybe let's have 0.3 or something. Shouldn't change too much there, but here. I do like it nevertheless. I do like it nevertheless. And maybe, you know, also using those poly pipes then. I think proximity stuff can often be quite good, you know, to generate certain meshes, generate certain also connections between surfaces, I would argue. This is, by the way, something I really enjoy about Houdini. This ability, no matter what you're doing, and no matter what type of geometry that is basically colliding, you can always some sort of smooth them together. If it is like the appropriate way to do things, definitely not. Does it matter? No, not really. But yeah, this is really cool, and it's also incredibly fast. Might also have something to do with certain ways of doing things. I don't know, of preparing the geometry in the first place, and or like the background stuff that is going on could also be the case, but it is way faster. And I'm a bit worried. I'm a bit worried about the file. I mean, of course, one could have just an incredibly fast computer, like extraordinarily fast indeed. You know, something that's out of this world. But I guess 0.03, which is, yeah, definitely a bit smaller, might not have done it too good. Today I've been rendering with Twinmotion. I really enjoy it. I'm looking forward to the next update, which should apparently also include Unreal Engine 5. The current build of Twinmotion being built on Unreal Engine 4, and there is indeed a very big difference between those two. Also, I think performance-wise, it should really make things better and make things more efficient and easier and better to use. I would say, I mean, the recommendations for Twinmotion are actually really high. I think 8 gigabytes of VRAM and shit like that. I think, yeah, it's quite something around those lines at least. Yeah. I think that I'm gonna actually end the episode there. I mean, it's quite boring to just have a loading screen in front of you, but this is what we did today. I hope you've liked it, and I hope you've been able to learn something, and I'm gonna see you the next time. So